Good evening, friends. This is time for trade wrap for 18th of Feb 2021. Now, yesterday's video, I had said that the Nifty correction could extend, and it did extend, but there was something very peculiar about it that the mid caps and the broader market, uh, that continued to rally while those 5 to 10 index heavyweights, which includes private banks and large cap tech, they continue to come down. Now before we continue, uh, I would request you to like, share and subscribe the channel. And we have several of our services going under the join button on the YouTube channel. Please go ahead and see what you like. We have platinum, gold, diamond, silver, copper, etc. And whatever you think suits you, you should go for that. For questions, WhatsApp 98710 66337 or email ashwani_gujral@yahoo.com. Now, on the case of the Nifty, so far, last 3 days, the Nifty is down about 400 odd points. But really, the market isn't showing great amounts of downside traction, which means that it is not closing at the lows. It is not a collapsing market. And for that reason, the puts, etc., are not working too well. And there is a certain lack of momentum. Now, this is the story thus far. Now, right now, as we speak, the S&P 500 is down about 36 odd points, and Dow is down 250. We'll have to see, whether the character of the correction changes, where the correction becomes more broad-based and the market really starts to correct, or it remains a narrow type of correction. So far, it is a narrow correction, and narrow corrections, like narrow upside movement, does not last for a long time. But if global markets, they get into some kind of collapse mode, then basically, all bets would be off. But for the moment, this seems like a mild correction. Now, what is happening on the S&P 500? You have this, range on the hourly chart on S&P 500, and this range has broken down. So some kind of sell signal has happened on S&P 500. Now we'll have to see whether it continues to collapse from here, or it recovers like the last 2 or 3 sessions. So far, this is the biggest fall in the last few days on S&P 500, and that will most likely have impact here. In case 15,000 is taken out, then 14,750 should be on the table. The difficulty with having that sort of a gap down is that the risk reward is extremely unfavorable. So as of right now, you have the SGX, which is about 15 odd thousand, and you don't want to short into 15,000, even if it means that we are going to break it. There could be some choppiness, and some sort of short covering may kick in. So let's see what happens from here, and if the broader markets also start some kind of a correction. If that happens, then obviously you should look for rallies towards 15 150 200 to get short on. But if it remains a very narrowish correction, then chances are that once the correction is done, we should get back towards the upside. March is a tricky month, so keep that on board, because several large corrections, including the COVID correction, happened in March, but that we said about January also. So far, if 15,000 holds on once everything is done and dusted, then we should be fine. Otherwise, we could have a deeper correction. On the pivots, 15,150 is pivot for tomorrow. So any sort of pullback should end at 15,130, 150. Similarly, Bank Nifty, we broke down from 36,800. I think any rallies towards 36,800, if they do come about, should be used to sell into the market. The Nifty target for tomorrow could be 14,977, and on the Bank Nifty could be 35,950. So let's see what happens tomorrow. In terms of the Nifty, Bank, again, some kind of a descending triangle which has sort of broken down. So it is possible that the Bank Nifty, if this is a deep correction, we should initially get towards 35,500, but we'll have to see how exactly that correction plays out. Couple of calls that we gave today, ONGC was one of them. The PSUs are doing very well. So ONGC has broken out of this little range of 80 to about 107. And if PSUs continue to move this way, look at the volume. I think ONGC could have much more upside, maybe 130 is possible. And the other one was NTPC. Again, stock has broken out. I think next target here could be easily 107, 108. But definitely it looks like, all of these PSUs have much higher levels to go. So these are some of the buy calls that should be taken. For tomorrow, the advice is that do not try to short the market first up. Chances are you open somewhere here. So if the Nifty, rallies back and hits into this zone, this is about 15,000, 15,120. So say you open here and come up and hit this point, this should be the move that should be expected. And similarly on the bank nifty, if you have a price congestion and this is the kind of price congestion that we have somewhere in this zone of 36,400 to about 36,600. So again, we open lower, and if we come and hit this point, you should get downside. Now, what happens in these sort of cases is that you open gap down, etc., and all of a sudden the Dow futures start to move positive. Sometimes going short post a gap down is never a good idea. So in case you have to ride the pullback on the Nifty, a good plan is that there are several stocks which are trading above their 200 period averages on the 5 minute, like the PSU stocks, etc. So if they come down, chances are they would still give you upside if and when the market does rally. Do not try to buy stocks which are below their 200 because they are weak stocks. So you want to buy what is strong. And once the pullback is over, then you can get back and go short on the weak stocks also. That should be it. Take care, trade well, and please consult your financial advisor.